Well, hey there, Paul.
Good morning, Jim.
What are you thinking today?
Well, I was thinking, do I still have 10 fingers? I was counting them, you know,
What were you
idle,
counting them with?
idle thinking. No,
With
just
your toes?
joking. What I was thinking about, we got a pod nugget in today's episode about scientists having to get together and resolve the issue of what time do they want on the moon.
Yeah.
And they were very confident. Oh yeah, we'll work this out because we'll come up with a solution that's practical that makes sense. And
Right.
then it
Yeah.
got me thinking, why doesn't the world try to resolve disagreements practically in a
Is
way that makes sense?
That's a really good question. The
Yeah,
world. Well, who
for
is
example,
making these decisions?
the space station.
Yeah.
There's Russian astronauts on board the space station. They
Right.
get along famously with everybody else in the space station, even though, we're at odds with Russia down here on the planet. So it's like a different mentality. It's a problem to be solved as opposed to a problem to fight over. Do you
Ah,
know what I mean, Jelly
yes.
Bean?
Yes, I do know what you mean. And that's really fascinating because who are the decision makers in each case? If you're talking about uh, problems to be fought over, who are the ones that are making those decisions about fighting over things?
Ooh, well, that seems to be the prevailing mode of operation in the world of politics, don't you think?
Politics, right.
It's very, very positional,
Huh?
and it's a zero-sum game. If you win, I lose, and I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So
yeah,
we're talking about, let's say, leaders, right? Leaders are making these decisions for us with a lot of, let's say, emotional input from their constituents. Yeah.
right, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
scientists don't have constituents as such.
Well, that could be part of the problem because politicians angle their position based on what they think the
Mhm,
majority of their voters will find agreeable.
mhm.
It's a lot of hypothetical in there. Whereas you're right, scientists don't have a constituency. What they do have is peers, and they're very used to peer review. And it's okay if you find something wrong with my theory. Good, let's come up with a better one. It's a whole different way of approaching disagreements.
Yeah.
Uh, so, did we solve anything?
Well, we're
We know
doing
it's interesting. You may not know this, but I've had training as a mediator, and I did a lot of volunteer mediation for several years. And the whole point of a mediation is you start with people being able to express their position without interruption.
Mhm.
And it really works magically because people really want to be heard.
Yeah.
That's kind of the basis of a disagreement. And if you allow them the space to be heard and you don't interrupt, because usually when you're listening to somebody, you're forming your own disagreements with them,
Yep.
um, it really gets a mediation off to a really good start. But those skills seem to be missing in the Congress at the moment.
Well, they don't have that same kind of protocol that says, okay, like the old Indian circles where you would pass the pipe and the person who had the pipe would, I'm just maybe making this up, the person who had the pipe would be the one who spoke. And
You've
then they,
watched too many westerns, I think.
I like the idea though. And then when you're done, you say, okay, I'm done now. You can have my pipe and you can speak. But in these public political situations, there is no passing of the pipe. They're going to say, I have the floor and I'm not going to yield the floor.
Ah,
Period.
yeah, yeah, it's confrontational, and I'm afraid that doesn't lead to enduring kind of solutions. You know, you know, for Congress to kind of find a solution, it takes weeks, if not months, and there's arguing and straining and sweating and swearing, and
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be that complicated.
Well,
What's practical and what's good?
What is practical? Well, and that, of course, is the opinion of the person, the individual who's going to say, yes, this is practical, or that is not. Oh, and by the way, a lot of these decisions, these political decisions, have consequences, right? That maybe nobody knows about. Say, well, we've got to do this because I feel this way. But sometimes they don't think about the consequences of making a certain action.
Yeah, you mean unintended consequences. In
Yeah.
other words, it's something they propose because on superficially there's something good attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you actually put it into action, you realize, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
we
Right.
should have thought of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the way that they reach solutions in the political world is flawed and tends to breed a lot of ill will.
Well, I have a solution to all of that, Paul. It's a very simple solution. You
I
pass
would expect nothing more from you.
you pass out pipes to everyone in Congress. Everybody gets a pipe.
Oh, so they talk at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And your point is with that practical solution?
I have no point.
Okay.
The laugh
You
was
just
all the
wanted to
point.
see it. It's
The
something you
laugh
would
was
like to
all the
see.
point we needed because we're done.
Ah.